Oh, misty eye of the mountain below, keep careful watch of my brother's souls. And should the sky be filled with fire and smoke, keep watching over during suns.
The word segregation is defined as the action or state of setting someone or something apart from other people or things. After the Civil War, millions of formerly enslaved African Americans hoped to join the larger society as full and equal citizens. Although some white Americans welcomed them, others used people's ignorance, racism, and self-interest to sustain and spread racial division. He's got a need to show us where we stand in the scheme of things. He's got a powerful need to do that. Page 233. By the 1900s, new laws and old customs in the North and South had created a segregated society that condemned Americans of color to second-class citizenship. Between 1849 and 1950, blacks were segregated from whites by law and private action in transportation, public accommodations, armed forces, and even recreational activities.
Now I see fire inside the mountain. I see fire burning the trees, and I see fire hollow in soul. I see fire, blood in the breeze, and I hope that you remember me.
Jim Crow laws were meant to establish the right of white Americans over blacks, to make them separate but equal. These laws made it legally acceptable to force African Americans to use separate amenities from whites. During times of segregation, African Americans were supposed to get the same rights as whites, but they were often given the shorter end of the stick. White people may demand our respect, but what we give them is not respect, but fear. What we give to our own people is far more important because it's given freely. Page 129. As segregation laws become more common, African Americans were not treated equally. They were often treated with police brutality and endured economic hardships because they were denied access to social programs, housing, jobs, and even fair trials, which were given to whites. Ain't no need to waste good time and money trying no thieving nigger. Page 254. The southern states also took it upon themselves to make it difficult for an African American to vote. They imposed a poll tax where a person had to pay in order to cast a vote. Most black people could not afford this tax, and therefore they could not vote. They also implemented literacy tests that had to be completed to vote. If a black person passed the test, then they were beaten and harassed to keep them from voting.
The 14th Amendment to the Constitution, which allowed the federal government to protect the civil rights of individuals, including African Americans, against state encroachment, was ratified in 1868. The amendment also defined national citizenship and extended it to former slaves freed by the Civil War. Beginning in 1909, a small group of activists organized and founded the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, known as the NAACP. They waged a long struggle to eliminate racial discrimination and segregation from American life. I didn't say Lillian Jean is better than you. I said Mr. Simmons only thinks she is. Page 127. By the middle of the 20th century, their focus was on legal challenges to public school segregation. The NAACP sought out cases that infringed on the 14th and 15th Amendments in order to set legal precedents and ultimately secure the constitutional rights of African Americans.
Page 158. Maybe one day, blacks and whites can be real friends, but right now, the country ain't built that way. Now you could be right about Jeremy making a finer friend than TJ ever will be. The trouble is down here in Mississippi. It costs too much to find out. So, I think you better not try. The practice of segregating people by race and gender has taken two forms. De jure segregation is separation law enforced, while de facto segregation occurs when widespread individual preferences, sometimes backed up with private pressure and leading to separation. Although segregation is no longer enforced in the United States, many people are in denial that racism and prejudice still exists in this country. This is not exclusive for race, but also for religion, gender, culture, political beliefs, as well as sexual orientation. As a country, we must bind together to coexist with one another's differences, even if we do not agree with it. Because this is the only way to a brighter tomorrow.